Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Intro to Meta Business Suite. This is it's a SCORE Westchester webinar, and it'll be presented today by Katie Fitzpatrick. Next slide, please. Whoop, go back one, Kate, sorry.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Art Hunter. I'm co-chair of SCORE Westchester. SCORE Westchester is a chapter and part of a nationwide organization with more than 300 chapters nationwide. Our goal is to foster a vibrant small business through free mentoring and education. We serve our small business community by providing confidential business mentoring, webinars and workshops like this one, and an extensive online educational resources. Our clients are startups and established businesses. SCORE Westchester has 50 plus volunteers. We're business mentors with a wide-ranging backgrounds and different industries, and so we bring a lot of different experiences to the table. You can reach us at 914-267-6570 at score.org/Westchester. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Next slide, please. So a little thing about housekeeping first. During the presentation, everyone will be muted. And as we go along, please submit your questions using the Q&A button, not the chat function. Katie is going to be using that chat function Kate will be using that chat function during the presentation to share useful links with you. Okay, we'll leave the time at the end of the webinar to review answers and questions, or to review questions. Next slide, please. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing what was formerly known as Facebook's Business Suite. This is known now as the Meta Business Suite, and it's a built-in social management tool. It serves as a centralized place to manage Facebook business pages, Instagram accounts, and is free to use. In this webinar, social media consultant Kate Fitzpatrick will address the following topics. What are the benefits of this tool? How to access it? Why should you care about the audience info? Where to find additional insights and analytics, and how to schedule content, and even more. So next, please. So Kate Fitzpatrick is CEO and founder of Kate Fitzpatrick Consulting. After developing a diverse set of public relations and editorial skills in the international magazine publishing industry in Manhattan, Kate was motivated by a passion for health and wellness to transition into a nonprofit world. After several years, she honed her public relations, website management, and social media skills at the T.J. Martell Foundation for Cancer Research. Driven to help small business find success in an increasingly competitive market, she then leveraged this experience to launch Kate Fitzpatrick Consulting, using her love of social media to give voice to health and wellness participants or practitioners looking to bring their message to the masses. She has broadened her client base to include entrepreneurs across several industries, including travel, real estate, and hospitality. Kate has consulted on public relations, website management, and social media strategy for respected local brands like Carla, is that Carla Mirage Homes, Kate?
Murtaugh.
And Murtaugh, and okay, Ortho Connecticut, Le Chateau, Grow Wellness, Miss Confident, Candlewood Inn, The Turning Point Healing Arts, just to name a few. She also serves as communications manager at Founders Hall, a beloved Ridgefield institution, which just celebrated its 20 years. She continues to strategize for celebrated local nonprofits like the Iris Fund Ridgefield, Theater Barn, Ridgefield Choir, and Thornstone. Or Thronestone. Sorry, Kate, I stumbled.
That's okay.
With that, I'm going to turn it over to Kate. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Art, and thank you to SCORE for having me. I really think SCORE is a wonderful organization, and I'm very passionate about supporting startups, entrepreneurs, and small businesses however I can. It's really one of my passions in my work. So I'm really happy to be here, and I teach a lot for different groups and libraries, and I feel like I really like a conversational style. So like Art mentioned, he will be monitoring the chat, and I am not offended if anyone interrupts with a question. So Art, if you need clarification on something, definitely chime in.
Absolutely.
So let's just, whoops, I thought I would just start by talking before we jump into what exactly is Meta, what is Meta Business Suite. I thought I would take sort of a high level, and just in case anyone is unsure, Meta is the company that now owns Facebook and Instagram. They announced in 2021, I believe in the fall, that Facebook had purchased Instagram very early on. So Facebook had been the owner of Instagram. And then in the fall of 2021, they decided to start a larger company, Meta, that now owns Facebook and Instagram. And so I'm sure people have been seeing some of those changes roll out. But I just thought that was important to note. And I really think social media demographics are a really important part of any brand's strategy. So before you talk about what you're posting and where you're posting and how you're posting, which are all things that I talk about with my clients, I think it's important to think about who we're trying to reach and where they're spending their time. Because if you're following shiny objects and starting a Snapchat account or a TikTok account, but your clients are only on Facebook and Instagram, it's just not a good use of your time and energy. And, as small business owners and startups and entrepreneurs, we wear a lot of hats, and we, have a limited amount of time and energy. There are a lot of things we have to get done. So I am really passionate about time management. And I think, having a handle on social media demographics helps us be more efficient and effective when we are posting. So this is one of the links that I will put in the chat. This is a blog from Sprout Social, which is a great social media tool. I don't pay for their tool, and they don't pay me to promote them. I think that's important to say. I just think their blog is really helpful. They will publish different blog posts on different topics, and they do the research on these demographics periodically. So they're really up to date in terms of who is using which platforms. So let me just put this in the chat. And Raquel may need to put that in the public chat, but if not, I will definitely send that to her to include in the slides that go out after the presentation. So if you can't see that chat, don't worry too much about it.
I shared it.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
So I will just kind of summarize. I think it's good to know, again, that Meta owns Facebook and Instagram. So we will look most closely at that section of this blog post, but they also have demographics on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Snapchat, and YouTube. So if you think your customers or clients might be spending time elsewhere, this is a good resource for you to review. So in terms of Facebook, there are 2.963 billion monthly active users. So a lot of people will say to me, no one's on Facebook anymore. I don't understand why, your clients are posting on Facebook. Everyone's on Snapchat and TikTok these days. And Facebook is still the largest social platform among both consumers and marketers. So it's definitely not a platform that we can walk away from yet. The largest age group is 25 to 34, ages 25 to 34, but there are definitely outliers. So that's just the majority. But, my 75-year-old father is on Facebook every day, and my 92-year-old grandmother is on Facebook all the time. So, and then there are some teens and 20-somethings on Facebook too. So just keep that in mind and take some of this with a grain of salt.
Kate, a question just came up that I don't want to interrupt you, but I think this is kind of important. It's a question about, if you have a personal Instagram account, how do you sign up for a business? How do you sign up for a business account? And what's the difference?
That's a really good point. So if you have a personal Instagram account, that's a really good place to start to just get comfortable with Instagram and figure out how to post. and how to see other people's posts and how to find people on Instagram. But you can go into the settings section and convert that over to a business account anytime you want. You don't have to start from scratch if you are a person and you're also your brand. I'm a one-man show, one-woman show. So it would be one thing for me to just convert my private over to a public business account, but you can also start from scratch. Some people really like to keep things separate. If they have gotten comfortable with Instagram with a personal profile, they might want to start a brand new Instagram account, a business account, and that's all in the settings section. But it is nice that you don't have to start from scratch if you don't want to. It will just give you the option to, I believe it says, switch account type. So look for that option.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Thanks.
Sure. So going back to Facebook for the gender breakdown, right now, Facebook is 44% female and 56% male. And the time spent per day is average of 30 minutes. So the average user is on Facebook about 30 minutes a day. So like we said, Facebook still remains the largest social platform among consumers and marketers. Facebook accounts for the bulk of Meta's ad revenue versus Instagram. So people are spending a lot more money to advertise on Facebook compared to what they're paying to advertise on Instagram. And time spent on Facebook does continue to fall as overall social media usage grows. So these demographics are constantly changing. That's why I really like this blog and why I feel like it's really important to periodically come back to demographics and pay attention to both who our businesses are trying to reach and where those people are spending time. And TikTok and Snapchat are a huge reason for that. So following 2022 social media demographic data, younger users are continuing to flock to TikTok and Snapchat. So that is happening, but it's still the largest platform in the world. So we will scroll down to Instagram now. And so Instagram says they have 2 billion monthly active users, and other reports cite 1.3 billion. So whichever number you take, it's still a huge, huge number. The largest age group is 18 to 24. So 30% of the Instagram audience is between ages 18 to 24. So it's slightly younger than Facebook. And it's a huge competitor with Snapchat and TikTok, which skew younger as well. But it's slightly more female than Facebook. So it's 42.8% female and 51.8% male. But it's almost the exact same amount of time, 30.1 minutes per day. So I think that's kind of interesting that people are spending about the same amount of time on Facebook and Instagram.
So that is fascinating.
Right. So some of the top takeaways, I thought this was really interesting too. The platform's growth remains steady after experiencing a boom period in recent years. They did see a small but notable flip in the age demographics. So the Instagram platform boasts a slightly larger percentage of Gen Z versus millennials. And as far as social media age demographics go, Instagram maintains a firm hold on both generations. So those two groups, Gen Z and millennials, make up roughly 2/3 of their base. But they have lost some status as the quote hip social network to TikTok. But because of that, they doubled down on Reels. So if anyone saw the announcement, I believe it was a year or so ago when Instagram said they were no longer a photo sharing app and everyone freaked out, it was because they wanted to really prioritize videos. So Reels are videos. And that was because they didn't want to lose people to TikTok the way they had been. So emphasis on short form video really does seem to be paying off for Instagram. and Reels reportedly drive the most engagement on the platform. So if you've been using Instagram for a while and you just feel like you've kind of plateaued, definitely try some Reels if you haven't been doing that. And recent Instagram stats signal the platform shift to becoming an e-commerce hub. There is, shopping available on Instagram. You can set up an Instagram shop and tag products, but the app is still kind of figuring things out as they revamp the social shopping features. So that's just good to keep in mind. And that was all kind of just a long way of saying that we always want to be posting on social media, whether we're posting on Instagram or Facebook or anywhere else. We just want to be posting with our ideal client in mind and making sure we're posting where that person is spending time. So I will come on over.
A question just came up about real versus photos. And it said another SCORE presenter reports that IG is de-emphasizing reels going forward. Is that your understanding?
That hadn't been my understanding right now. The last I heard, they did a big push towards reels, and then, it felt like there were a lot of reels. And so some people's reels were getting less reach as they were kind of just flooded with reels, but I hadn't heard anything about the platform announcing that they were actively de-emphasizing reels. I think it's really important to have variety in our content. And Instagram has said that carousel posts that have more than one image are also really good. They will give really good reach to posts that are carousel posts. So a lot of people don't realize if you post one picture in an Instagram post and someone sees it in their feed but doesn't engage with it, they don't like it, they don't comment, they just scroll by, that post is gone from that person's feed. It's not going to reappear. But
Right.
if a post has more than one picture and I just scroll by it the first time, Instagram will put it back in my feed, just rotated to the second picture, maybe a few hours or the next day later. So carousel posts are a really good type of content to work into your strategy. But I still post some reels, and I still encourage my clients to post reels.
I think that's good advice. I think the mix of content is really important. I can just speak from our experience. We added reels just recently, and it's doubled our followers, and it's
Oh,
also
good.
increased our engagement. So I agree with you. I think variety makes things work the best.
I think that's great. And I think just paying attention to what is working is really important. And we'll look at this a little bit in the business suite for my account. But I think a lot of people will say, well, I don't know, what's working, what's not working. And the fact that you introduced reels and tracked the growth of that platform is really, really important instead of just, throwing spaghetti at the wall.
Right, because we're actually getting a lot of questions about statistics. So as we go through, we'll interrupt you and ask you some of these questions.
Great.
There was a question about going back to Facebook, though, that I thought we should take. Can you sign up for a Facebook business account without a personal account?
I don't believe so. So the last I heard, and one of these other links may touch on that, but that's not the one I was thinking about. What's Business Suite? So to get started, the last I heard, you definitely needed a business page in order to have Business Suite. And in order to make a business page, you have to start with a personal profile. It doesn't mean you have to
have a personal profile.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you have to have a personal profile picture. You don't have to accept friend requests or, look at anybody else's posts if you don't want to. But my understanding, the last I heard, was that you do have to start with. It just has to be connected to an individual. And I think that's for security reasons. They don't want, they're trying very hard to cut down on bots and all
Right.
that stuff. And that's a totally different webinar. But I think that's one way that they are really proving the authenticity of these business pages, is making them be connected to at least one human being.
Okay, great. Okay, fantastic.
Awesome. Well, the next slide, or excuse me, the next article I wanted to share was from Facebook itself. It's an explanation of how Meta Business Suite actually works. So I will put this one in the chat as well. And I always just think, Facebook can explain this better than I can explain it. So Meta Business Suite lets small businesses and creators manage all of their connected accounts across Facebook and Instagram in one place. So it's a really nice way to save some time. It's not saying you have to post exactly the same content in both places if you don't want to, but it's nice to have one login where you can access both your Facebook and Instagram in one place. I can make this a little bit bigger. Whoops, maybe not. Facebook Business Suite offers a variety of tools that makes it easier to manage your online presence for free. That's another important point, that Facebook has said it will always be free for users, and it's free to use Meta Business Suite. You do not have to pay to create an account. You can always pay to advertise, and they like when you pay to advertise, but it is free to manage your online presence in this place. So that's a really nice advantage. And Meta Business Suite can help you reach more people and stay up to date while you manage your presence online in one place. So from your home screen, you can see an overview, and I'll walk everybody through my own business suite just so you can see in case you don't have your own set up yet. But just a couple bullet points. You can see an overview of your Facebook page and Instagram account. If you only have a Facebook page and you don't have an Instagram account, that's totally fine. You can still use Business Suite just for Facebook, but I really do encourage, if you have an Instagram account, I really encourage you to integrate that into your into your Meta Business Suite so you can see things side by side, like I'll show you in 1 minute. So you'll see updates, recent posts and ads you may have run. You can see insights on both your Facebook and Instagram platform within the Business Suite instead of having to log in separately. So that's a really nice advantage. And you can also create a post or promote your business from the Business Suite. You'll see new notifications, although that's not my favorite feature of the Business Suite. Sometimes I feel like notifications get a little lost. So just know that if you sometimes lose notifications within the Business Suite, you are not alone. You can use the inbox in the Business Suite, so you can read new messages and comments from your Facebook page, Messenger, and Instagram accounts all in one place, which is pretty convenient. And some businesses choose to create automatic responses or automated responses to help save time when they're responding to questions people commonly ask. I don't love this option. I really want people interacting with my business to know that they're getting me, a human being. But this really does work well for some businesses. So if that makes sense for you, I say go for it. You can create posts and stories, which I'll show you how to do in a minute. You can schedule things in Business Suite, which I feel is really, really convenient option.
That's actually there's actually several questions about scheduling.
Oh, nice.
Scheduling, okay. So I hope this will answer some of these questions, including there's been changes the way that you schedule posts, and doesn't seem to allow sharing to many other groups we previously shared with, and how they want to know how to fix that kind of thing. So maybe are you going to talk about sharing now?
Yeah, why don't I'll jump in and we can come back to this blog post if we need to. But basically, when I log into my Facebook, this is my personal profile. So if you log into your personal profile and you've set up your Business Suite, it should be over here on the left. A lot of people say, well, how do I get there? It's right under Friends. And just know that there is, you guys are looking at my desktop version, but there is an app. It's a separate app. And I'm just going to make sure I'm giving you the right name, but it says Business Suite, and it's a white square. So you can find that in your app store if you haven't already downloaded it. And it does look a little bit different. So just know that if you choose to use the app on your phone or a device, it will look a little different. And you will not see all of these options. These are just my client options, or the different clients I work with. But in terms of your Facebook Business Suite, this is what it looks like when you have both accounts linked to your business suite. If I didn't have my Instagram in here, it wouldn't be letting me go to Instagram, and it wouldn't be showing me my Instagram profile right here. So just know yours might look a little bit different if you've only integrated, or if you have not integrated an Instagram account. But in terms of scheduling, there are a few different ways you can schedule, and sometimes that gets confusing. But the way I like to do it is just following the prompts to create a post. My Wi-Fi feels slow today. And so the first thing you'll want to do is select where you're posting to. So I mentioned this before, just because I have my Facebook and my Instagram in here doesn't mean I have to post to both places if for whatever reason I don't want to, but I definitely want to today. So I'm going to check that box, but I could also uncheck for whatever reason if I only wanted to post on Instagram. So I'll post there, and then it also allows you to choose up to 3 groups that you're a member of, but you have to be a member of those groups as your Facebook business page. It's not going to give you options to share into groups that you're only a member of as your personal profile. So that gets a little.
I see, but it does limit the number. You can only share with 3.
Exactly. So when you schedule it, you can only share to 3, but after it posts, you can share to more.
Okay, interesting.
And so the next thing I'm going to do is choose the media. So you can share photos or a video. It's reminding you that if you're posting to Instagram, you can't exceed 10 photos. But I will just click photo. I'm going to upload an image I created in Canva. Whoops, this one. And I'll just select that, and it's going to populate into the post. And it's going to give me a preview over here on the right. And I can also choose this drop-down menu so that I can see how it will look in Instagram. But if I click the arrow and choose Facebook, I'll see that it looks pretty similar in Facebook. And then under where it says text, that's where I can type my copy. If I choose to customize the post for Facebook and Instagram, I can toggle that switch. And I can type it one way in Facebook, type it a different way in Instagram if I choose to. So that's a nice option as well, especially if you're used to typing it 2 different ways in 2 different platforms. This can save a lot of time, but I'm going to turn that off and just write the same thing. And now I'm on the spot and I didn't think about what to post or what to type with it, but I'll just say, thanks so much, Lori. This very kind recommendation. And you can include hashtags here as well. So I like to include hashtags like Testimonial Tuesday, Social Media Manager, and we could do a whole other webinar on hashtags because
Yes, good.
I typed that testimonial. I have a communication degree, I swear. But basically a hashtag is a conversation that you want to join. So I want people to find me who are looking for a social media manager. That's why I'm using social media manager. Today is Tuesday, and a lot of people post testimonials on Tuesday. So I kind of want to join that conversation. I'm in Ridgefield, so I'll use Ridgefield CT. A lot of people will forget to use a geographic hashtag because a lot of people will choose to follow the hashtag of the town where they live or the town where their business is. And so that way, if people aren't following me, but they're following that hashtag, my post will show up in their feed, which could be a really good thing. And I will also use the hashtag for the Ridgefield Corral because that's the group that Lori works with. So that is good enough. You can then see there are a bunch of other options underneath the text box. So I don't often add a feeling or activity, but you can. I do recommend adding a location. And it does not, this like creeps some people out. It does not have to be the location where you physically are right this second. I'm a skin cancer survivor, and this is just an example. I work with a company raising awareness about skin cancer. And so sometimes I will post photos that I took in Hawaii last year, but I'm right here when I'm posting them, but I took them in Hawaii. So I will add the location of Hawaii. I might add a location of New York if I'm trying to reach people in New York, or if I'm posting pictures of an event that took place in New York, even if the event is over and I'm home in Connecticut now. So don't feel like that location setting has to be like, your literal location at the time. But I am going to use the location of Ridgefield since I'm talking about the Ridgefield Corral. And then I'll save that. Let's see what else. I don't usually use the rest of these. So this is what everyone had questions about. So you have different scheduling options. I can choose to publish this now, which I will probably do after I show you the other options. I can schedule it, or I can save it as a draft. If I'm not quite sure, I just wanted to draft it real quick, save it and come back to it, I can save it as a draft. But if I click on schedule, it lets you schedule your post for the times when your audience is most active, and we'll look at that in a few minutes. Or you can just manually select a time and date in the future to publish your post. So this came in really handy when I was promoting a few events for a group in town that promotes Lyme disease awareness, and May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. And we knew we had a few events on certain days. And so I sat down a month or two ago and just scheduled out these posts in one afternoon, and we kind of set it and forget it. And obviously we monitored to see if anyone had any questions or comments that we needed to address, but it was really, really convenient. So if you click on the little calendar icon or there, it pulls up the calendar. So I could schedule it for a few minutes from now, or I could use the arrows and schedule really far in advance. When I go to Ireland in October, I'm going to schedule posts to make it look like I'm maybe still in the office working. And there's a chance that I'll find time in like August to schedule those posts for October. It just kind of depends on your business and your business model. And that doesn't make sense for everybody, but it's just really nice to have those options. And so it's saying that August is the farthest out it will let me schedule. So I think that's a new thing. So what's August? So it sounds like June, July, August. So 3 months, you can schedule up to 3 months in advance. These features change. And so it's important to kind of spend some time on a regular basis to see what changes, but even being able to schedule 3 months in advance is nice. And if it makes sense for you to post at the same time on Facebook and Instagram, that's great. If you say, you know what, for whatever reason, I want to schedule this today on Facebook, but I don't want to post it on Instagram till a week from now, you can do that too. You can also click on active times. Oops, that was weird. I don't know why that's doing that. What time is it? So usually when you click on active times, it will tell you, oh, there you go. That red text threw me off. It's telling me that on Facebook, the times that my audience is most active is 7 p.m. And this is a really nice option for me because I have 3 little kids, and at 7 p.m. we are having dinner, we are taking baths. I am not posting on social media. So this is a really nice option. Other people, for whatever reason, they know they want their post to go up at 6 a.m. so that people see it as they're waking up, but they don't want to be actively posting it at 6 a.m. They want to schedule it and stay in bed. So it's a really nice option. I think maybe I will choose today at 7 p.m. since Facebook can tell when our audience is most active, and that creeps some people out as well. But I think it's just good to use the data that they're giving us and the information that they're giving us instead of just kind of guessing. Like 1:35 p.m. is maybe not the best time to be posting if people, Facebook is telling me a lot of people are not looking right now.
That's a really great point, Kate, and that's a really powerful tool. I didn't know that that was there, and because I know that knowing when your clients are online is really important. That's how you increase engagement, correct?
It's definitely a really good idea, and variety is important too. Just like we post a variety of content types. I wouldn't recommend posting every day at 7 o'clock. I have one client who wants me posting 3 times a week at 6 a.m. and I try to talk her into mixing it up a little bit. But yeah, the information that they're giving us for a reason. So I think it is important.
Right.
So I am going to choose for Facebook. I will choose today at 7. But since we use the hashtag of Tuesday Testimonial, and I have something planned for my skin cancer awareness campaign tomorrow on Instagram, I'm not going to follow their guidance. I'm going to manually set it to today at 7 p.m. as well, so that they just go up at the same time. And then I'll save it. And if I know I want to pay to boost, I can do that right here. So I will often do this for a realtor client who knows she wants to pay to boost every new listing. When I schedule that listing and the photos, I will pay to boost it right here. So that's a nice option as well. And whenever you see boost, that's one way of advertising on Facebook and Instagram.
So there's a quick question. Is that the activity time, is that a new feature or has that always been there?
I believe that's been there for a while. It's not very new. I'm trying to think when they introduced that, and I can't think of when, but it's definitely, sometimes they move things around. So the information's been there, but it's just easier to see, or they put it in a different place, which can be a little confusing.
Okay, yeah, and I know I've seen it in Instagram statistics that you can call up their metrics. So, okay, good. Thank you.
Sure. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule this. Might take a moment. And then I'll come back to the Meta Business Suite home and walk you guys through quickly the other sections. And so now I can see in my planner that that post is scheduled for this evening. I can see that it's scheduled in Instagram and it's scheduled in Facebook. And if I realize, oh no, I need to edit this or I need to delete this, I can click on the 3 dots and that would let me edit it. I could duplicate it if for whatever reason I wanted to duplicate it. I could reschedule, which is really nice because sometimes I will sit down on a Monday and schedule out posts for a client for a week or 2 or 3, and then something will come up and we'll have to reschedule a post. So they make that really easy. You could also move to drafts if I, come back after this webinar and I think I could, write a little bit more of a creative caption. I could move it over to drafts and I could also delete it. So it's nice to have options. A lot of people will, feel a little paralyzed and feel a little stuck because they think that things have to be absolutely perfect before they post them, because once they post them, they'll never be able to change it. And you can even go back. Let's just double check. So that is a Facebook. This is showing me what I posted yesterday and the day before. And I believe it even allows you to click on the 3 dots. You can delete a story from your archive once it's gone up. And this is something I posted in my stories last night. And if I decide, So the 3 little dots are not showing up, but it is kind of nice to be able to go back and change things. And this is my planner. And if I had scheduled things, it's showing you your week at a time. And if I had scheduled things out for next week, it would all show up right there. And it's showing you what things are coming up that you might want to schedule a post around. If Memorial Day is important to you or your business, if National Donut Day is important to you and your business, it's kind of fun that it is giving you ideas.
A really interesting question just came up that I'm going to interrupt you again on.
Sure.
It's really with this tool. Does it look different if you try to? Is this tool friendly with them on a mobile device, or is it really better to be using a desktop with this?
So it just sort of depends on how your brain works. I think the app is really helpful on the go. And like I said, there is an app that's called Business Suite that allows you to schedule posts, which is really nice. That's pretty much, that's pretty much all I use it for. But when I look at my app, I can see my number of followers side by side, comparing Facebook and Instagram. I can look at my past posts to see the insights on my past posts that I've done. I can go back and boost posts. So you can do some of the same things. Some people do prefer the app, and I like seeing things bigger. And I think the desktop is a little bit more user-friendly, but it kind of just depends on how you work.
Right, but you can schedule from the app.
You can schedule from the app, which is really convenient, especially, like if you're on the go, if you're at an event and you don't have your laptop, but you have your phone and you know that you want things to post for 7 p.m., but it's 10 a.m. and you don't want to have to do it when you get back to your office. You can schedule through the app, which is really nice.
And the app is Meta Business Tool, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And so that is the planner where, again, you can plan your marketing calendar by creating, scheduling, managing your content. If we go back to the left side, this is sort of your menu. So if I click on home, this is one of the best places to spend a little bit of time. And again, I think that it's really nice. It's showing me side by side my Facebook page followers compared to my Instagram followers, and then my Facebook page reach compared to my Instagram reach. And that's just kind of toggling back and forth. It's showing me comments and showing me that this comment was on Instagram, this one is on Facebook. And if that is giving me a headache, I can use this drop-down menu to just make it smaller, make it go away. And then when I scroll down a little, it's showing me my recent and upcoming posts, stories, and ads, and letting me schedule here too. So this is kind of like a snapshot, like a thumbnail, and you can go into more detail in any of these sections if you want. Oops. But this is a post I did on Instagram on Sunday. It's showing me that I had 55 likes, 3 comments, reached 262 people. And so it's showing you in reverse chronological order. So that means the most recent and then working backwards. And then if I wanted to see more posts, I could click on see more or see all. I don't do much advertising, so there's nothing showing up here, but if you did, this would be one of the places you could see that. And I do want to scroll down. So this is the notification section that we covered briefly. And sometimes this section gets a little overwhelming. But this is one of the places you can see notifications. So someone commented on my photo and that type of thing. And those are important things. So whether you're looking at those comments in your business suite or on your actual Facebook page, it's really important to monitor the comments on your posts in case someone, I'm not going to say we've gotten lazy, but customer service has just really changed. And so sometimes instead of, calling the pizza place and asking when they open on Friday, someone might comment on their Facebook page. And if they don't see that comment and answer that question, they might miss that sale. So I think it's just really important one way or the other to be monitoring your notifications.
I had a conversation with a new social media user the other day, and she made the comment that she wasn't checking her DMs, and a friend of hers actually called her and said, "You need to check your DMs because I placed an order with you." So that's, I think,
So
check
important.
comments. Does this show comments on both Instagram and Facebook together?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Great.
So that's really helpful.
So that brings up a good point. Then I think that there was a question along the way about just using the Facebook, the old tool, using your personal data you get from your business page versus using the Meta Business tool. Is really, it combines everything for you instead of having to go to two different places, correct?
Exactly. It's so nice to just have one login. And then you can also, I'm not sure we'll get to this section, but once you have Business Suite set up, you can add users. So it used to be, I've been doing this work for 12 years, and it used to be when someone hired me to post for them as a consultant, they would have to give me their Facebook username or the email address and the password. But you can, once you have Business Suite set up, you can add someone under page roles, and you can designate them as an admin or an editor. And it's really like your business manager all in one place. And so if that makes sense for your business, if there's someone else you want to share some of these responsibilities with, you can just go to page roles. I think they moved it to under tools, but that's a really nice option. So now I really just log in as myself, and then I see all of my other client accounts under my Business Suite. So it's one login. And so I do want to make sure we see this insight section.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions about insight. So
running out of time. So the insight section is definitely a section to spend some time getting more comfortable with and just coming back to periodically. I love calendar reminders. I love timers. So I will sometimes set a calendar reminder for once a week or once a month to just make sure I'm looking at this. So the default, it will just give me a quick snapshot for my last week in review and just compare my activity and compare my results. So it's showing me that my Facebook page reach last week was 373, and on Instagram was 504. And so if you click that View All Insights button, it gives you a lot more information.
This is so powerful. I think this is a great thing to see. And it goes, one of the things that was asked way back in the beginning is that if you look at it's from Donna, I have a question about demographics. When I look at my reels that I post on Facebook and Insta, the numbers of views varies depending on if I'm looking at Insight versus what's coming up from time to time, I guess, on her actual page. For instance, under views, Insight might be 125, but when I get a notification, it says two times that number of views. I guess
that's a tricky one. I would have to look at the account, but these insights are also constantly changing. So you could post, and the thing with Reels is, all these posts last forever or until we delete them. But with Reels, you could post a reel and it could get a few hundred views in the first day or so, and then it kind of plateaus. But then for whatever reason, in a week or two, it could, skyrocket again. So the Reels algorithm is really truly a mystery, but the numbers could be changing. So that could be one reason for it, just over time. But this insight section is kind of amazing because it's giving you information about your audience. We talked about in the beginning how important it is to know who our audience is, who we're trying to reach, and where they're spending time.
Right.
So it's really putting my two accounts side by side so I can compare. And then let's see, my results are also really important. So on the left, it's giving you results and showing you that it's up 43% on Facebook, my reach is up 12% on Instagram. A lot of people will ask me, you know, what are your metrics for success? What is your goal for these percentages? And, you know, different social media managers handle this differently. I always want to see things going up in the green. Like if there were a lot of red numbers here, that would be a problem. But I always like to be increasing by 5 to 10%, maybe. But you know, that also really depends on the business, the audience, the time of year. So it's really hard to have hard and fast rules like that. But again, this is just a section that is important to look at.
Right.
And profile visits is nice to be able to see too. And you can export any of this as well. So if I'm not a huge reporting person, but if you're a big reporting person, it's nice to be able to export these. You can also change the date. So I do have a few clients that ask me to run reports quarterly. So I will toggle this to 90 days so they can see and compare that time period, which is a nice option. And you can click the box for compare. You can also customize. So if for whatever reason you want to look at 3 weeks in February, you can do it that way too.
Great.
And then when you click on content, that's a nice section to spend some time into, because some people find this easier to look at than their Facebook page or their Instagram profile. This is almost like a bulleted list. If my Wi-Fi would work, it's giving you sort of a snapshot and giving you the reach on each one. And it doesn't look like this is populating completely perfectly, but when
I see the point, though. You can get an idea.
Yeah. You can also used to be able, so if I come over and say, I'm going to take the stories out, because that's maybe not as important to me as posts, you can compare the reach and engagement on your posts so that you can pull out patterns. Again, instead of like throwing spaghetti at the wall, if you see that each time you post a picture of you and your kids, you get hundreds of likes, but each time you post an article about your industry, nobody looks at it, or something like that. It's just important to try to pull out some patterns. So again, I really try for variety. And this is showing me both Instagram and Facebook. And this is really nice because I'm seeing the same post on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm seeing that it got slightly more reach on Instagram.
Interesting.
And but on the other hand, this one that I posted on Facebook and Instagram got more reach on Facebook. So it can be maddening if you try too hard to pull out too many patterns, but just paying attention is really important. And I think this is really nice to have sort of a snapshot like this.
Well, it shows what's effective for you, if that's for sure.
Exactly.
And I think that's really, really important as you know, especially when you're thinking about crafting new posts.
Exactly.
And
this is another place you can go back and boost. If you say, you know what, I wish more people had seen that reel, I'm going to go back and pay to boost it. You can do that. It doesn't have to be paid to boost the second you actually do the post. You can go back hours, days, months later and choose to boost it. They will pretty much always take your money. So
I know. No, that is actually a question. What is a boost post? And that is a post you pay. That is a post that you pay to extend your reach on, correct?
Exactly. So there are a lot of, and again, this is another webinar we could do, but there are a lot of different ways to advertise on social media. You can create an ad from scratch, and Facebook will walk you through choosing a goal, whether your goal is to get more followers on the page or drive traffic to the website. So it will walk you through creating an actual ad, or you can boost just one individual post. So that's paying to advertise that one individual post to an audience of your choosing. And when you pay to advertise on social media, whether it's paying to boost a post or creating an actual ad, you can start with $5 or $10. You do not have to start with the hundreds of dollars that it costs to advertise in other places.
Right. And it's a platform where you can really drill down into the the data, the type of person that you want to reach, I guess the demographics of the person that you want to reach.
Exactly. I worked in magazines and newspapers and I loved it and I still love them and read them, but you can pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to advertise in a magazine or newspaper and not reach the people who you are trying to reach. For, a realtor client, I can tell Facebook that I want to boost that post with a new listing to people in the Ridgefield area and the surrounding 10-mile radius who have shown interest, like active interest in real estate, in homes, in home improvement. And so you're really targeting the audience you're trying to reach, which is—
That's a huge point. And that's actually a question if you can, target a community or an
yes,
area or a country or an area around you. Because I know that you can boost a post sometimes, and if you don't take the time to set it up, you're going to reach all over the place. But by going in and setting up the who you want to reach and how far you want to reach has a tremendous benefit.
exactly. It just comes back to being really efficient and effective with our budgets, which are, not the same budgets that major corporations have. And so it's really
Right,
important
right,
to
right.
be as effective as possible as we can. So yes, you can target your audience. That's literally how specific I get with a realtor. And, different businesses have different audiences, but you can target geographically and based on keyword. And the keywords will be, if I have shown interest in real estate, it means I have liked posts in the past that have to do with real estate. Facebook mines all of that data for better or for worse.
Right. Just a real quick question. I don't want to take too much more time because we have a lot of questions and I know you have a ways to go, but a lot of questions about just dealing with Facebook, dealing with Instagram and actually, well, I don't know what, customer service, a lot of people that are having difficulties setting up business pages, a lot of people setting up Instagram business accounts. And really, because I know from personal experience that sometimes you are dealing with a robot. Is there a good resource that can help guide people through that process, especially if you've been removed from the platform, or if you're not making any progress getting your account set up? Is there a good resource for helping with that or understanding that process for that matter?
Yeah, it's a really hard process. And the only time I've ever gotten a human being on the phone at Facebook was when I was at a cancer research foundation. Then they wanted us to advertise and they had a nonprofit program going on. So I had a human being and I had that person's phone number. But whenever I reached out about a tech support type of issue like this, I got no response. So it is definitely difficult. And it's happened to clients of mine too. A client of mine got, shut out of her business page somehow. And thank God I can still access her business page and post for her, but it's not the best system. So I would say just keep trying, keep going through that help section and keep submitting those requests. But I wish there was a better answer to that question.
Yeah, that's but that's really good advice. I mean, that was my personal experience with it, with a client when they had been rejected. It was really her tenacity and her not going to give up until she got what she wanted.
Right.
And it broke through, but it did take a long time. It really it took a long time to get it all set up and get through.
That's so hard.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of setting up, I know we're almost out of time. I will put a few other links to things we pretty much covered, but I see a 4-minute warning. Thank you, Raquel. I've lost track of which ones I put. Oh, and here were some tips that we pretty much covered, but just in case there are some additional tips in there. So I put a few more links in the chat, and I definitely want to be respectful of time, but I can go back to the question slide.
Well, yeah, one thing that I do want to point out to everybody that's on the webinar today is that once the webinar is over, you will receive a link back to this webinar. And at the end of this, we can go to just the next slide. Okay, you can see some very important information. There's Kate's personal email, there's SCORE Westchester's email, and there's also a request for a mentor. The one thing that you can do is, refer to this and reach out to SCORE, and we can answer some of these questions, or you can reach out to Kate, and
Absolutely.
she'll be glad to answer some of these questions. I can go with the 1 minute we have left before I lose you. I really want to thank you and thank everybody for attending today. Kate, we can do this again.
I would love that. It was so much fun. I can't believe an hour has gone by already. And I did want to offer a 30% discount on my coaching sessions. I conduct private social media coaching sessions by Zoom. So if you just want to share your screen with me and go through your questions or set up your account, or, just ask lots of questions and strategize for what content to share, I would love to offer a 30% discount to anyone who has been with us live or watches the recording. So
That's
just shoot me
very
an email
generous.
if you'd like to
Very,
take
very
advantage.
generous. And
You're welcome.
and again, I think SCORE is also a good place to start to help you construct a social media strategy. I want to thank all the attendees today, and I'm sorry if I didn't get to all of your questions, but Kate, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. Again, thank you very, very much, and thanks to everybody for attending today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
All right, I'll speak to you soon. Thanks,
Sounds
everybody.
good. Bye, everybody.